There are many kinds of reports in time at work. The reports that you see depend upon the perspective that you've been granted by the administrator. Company managers, project managers, line managers, and standard employees will see different sets of reports, but they'll be accessed and run in the same way. Reports can be accessed from three different places. First of all, on every page, there's a reports panel that lists reports that are appropriate to the content of that page. There's also a shortcuts panel that will list the reports that you've most recently run or most frequently run. All reports, however, can also be accessed from the reporting tab, where they're grouped by topic. Within these reports, there are different kinds, different ways of presenting the data. So, for example, if I look at this report here, all annual leave, that will open a grid or matrix. I'll have to go back in order to see the data that structures reports, structures the data either by employee down the left-hand side or by project, and by month. These reports enable you also to click on a value and see, in this case, the project associated with the value. Employees down the left and project breakout by clicking on a value. This is a very simple kind of report. Nevertheless, you can export it to Excel by clicking on the button here, and that could be useful. I'll close that though. Or there are more complex reports, such as all hours, days and fees. This is still a transaction report in that it's going to show you a grid of data, either summarized or based on each individual timesheet cell. You'll always first see this filter page, and in the top left-hand corner you can see the different fields that you can use for filtering. For example, if you wanted to look at data only for a particular employee, you would click on Employee and choose an employee. You'd then see the value that you've chosen being built up here in the top right-hand panel. You can use logical connectors if, for example, you wanted to see all data for employee 1 and 2. You would add a second employee here, and in fact, all would be the right operator here. You want to see all data that belong either to 001 or 002. So you can build up your parameters here, but when you're finished with setting filter values for a particular field, you must click on Apply Filter. We might also choose a particular project and apply that. Now, it's very likely that when I click on Run, we'll see no data here. So I will quickly remove these filters, also for employee, and apply again. So now we have no filters on this report, and I'll click on Run. And this simply shows a grid of data. You can export the entire grid to Excel by clicking on the Excel button, or you can do such things as group by clicking on the plus sign here. So this is grouping everything by client, and you see the numeric values on the right-hand side summarized. You can group on combinations of values, so we might we might also group by project name, so we see summaries by project and client. You can ungroup by clicking on the box here, or you can expand a particular group by clicking on the plus sign on the row. Of course, you can undo that with the minus sign. I'll ungroup everything here and show you one other thing as well. For example, filtering. If I click on the filter button here, I might put in something like 001 and click on OK, and then it will filter the entire grid by 001. I can change the number of rows that I see in the page. I can go backwards and forwards between rows. I can also freeze pane. If I click on this freeze pane pin here and move, say, to project, then it will, I can't do that while it's filtered. I'm going to undo the filtering first and then freeze pane here, and we'll see that we can now scroll to the right. So there are a number of things you can do with these grid reports. Finally, there are reports where the data are rendered using Microsoft Reporting Services. In this case, we might choose all client project KPIs, and I won't bother to filter in any way. I'm just going to show the entire data, and it would look like this. There's another video tutorial which explains the data in this report. I simply want here to show that there are reports that are also rendered in this sort of way. So those are the kinds of reports. We saw a matrix report where data are grouped either by employee or project and shown in a simple grid. There are transaction reports where you can filter and group and export to Excel, and there are these rendered reports where you see the data arranged on the page by Microsoft Reporting Services. So that's reporting.